may have died. No, he was in a catatonic state.
I lost me for a second. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for some sobering facts.
Let me fill this thing up.
You want some?
Nope. Yeah, you said you had some
Sobering.
some facts. You
The
learned some
dark
things
side-
about these kids that disturbed you a little bit.
Yeah, here's.
I didn't go that far.
It's
Okay. A little coffee over there.
Your shirt smells like coffee. That's what my wife's going to tell me tonight. I'll be like, that's right, baby. That's right. You like it like that. She likes shirts that smell like coffee.
Yeah. It just makes it seem like you've been at a coffee shop.
Been in a coffee shop. All right, here's what I did, kids. Here's what I did.
Do you think there's any child geniuses watching this show? I doubt it.
Yep, they're smart.
No, I think the people who watch this show are, I'd say, smarter than average, but no child, like 210 IQ, that kid ain't got time for it.
Do you know why they're not watching?
Too busy.
Because
Studying
more
things.
IQ, more problems. That's what I've uncovered.
Yeah. If
Just
you've
like,
got an IQ,
just like Puffy said.
if you're a child and you've got proof that your IQ is over 200, contact us somehow. Because we want to be your friend.
We do not want to be their friend.
Yes, we do. We want to
Dude,
advise them and use them as a tool to do things.
Once I give you this information, you're going to want to stay as far away from childhood geniuses as possible.
We need to get them here, and we need an unofficial idea generation situation. Not
well,
where you
maybe
can't pay 'em
maybe
because that's
child
against the law.
creative genius, but just a child prodigy is only good at the thing they're good at.
No, I want them to
Chess,
take
violin,
over
calculus,
something. Like
geology,
Pinky in the Brain.
anthropology.
Yeah, I'm interested in doing something in anthropology.
So I went down a couple of rabbit trails with these people. I mean, the first girl that I mentioned at age 1, she started reading. Promethea, Olympia, Kyrene, Pythatha.
Well, first of all, there's something not quite right there just because of the name.
Well, and
That's
this
a
is
sign.
this is sad. So you got to come for me to tell what I'm about to tell. You have to come out of like you being so happy-go-lucky because this is about to get dark.
Yeah, that name is kind of sad.
And if you say something, like cracking a joke,
Yeah.
it's going to come across as really cruel because
Okay.
this gets serious.
okay,
Okay,
I would expect that there's some dark stuff here with a name like that.
I'm telling you, you're going to get hated on. When I tell you what happened to
I'm
this girl.
beyond that, man.
Okay, here's what happened. Some elderly dude became obsessed with her and started giving her and her mom money to like cover bills and stuff like that because he heard, there was like articles about her being a child genius and all this stuff. And then he gave him $9,000 at some point in the past and started referring to himself as like grandfather.
Sugar daddy.
Grandfather. But when in 2011, when
Well, this is
Promethea
recent.
was 19 years old,
Okay.
I think she lived in the Midwest, but Thomas Kairos, this old guy, like 94 years old, drove up from Florida
What?
to their house.
Old dude.
He's been having contact, but he was kind of weird, so they put him on a
94?
restraining.
There's
yeah.
no way.
Yeah. What he did was he went to the house and he was convinced that her mom was holding her back from capitalizing on her genius and developing properly. And he shot her 5 times. Tried to kill her because in order to help her genius. And she had to lay down on her mom's body and prevent him from shooting. And she lived. She survived.
The mom.
The mom survived. Prometheus saved her mom's life in their front yard by jumping on her mom and saying, "No, stop shooting up my mom." He goes back, gets in his car, throws a letter out that had some money in it and said, "You can have this endowment and more money and pay for tuition and all that stuff if your mom's dead." It's like he was nuts. And then the cops show up. He pulls the gun on the cops,
They kill him.
and they killed him.
That's a happy ending.
I mean, it's justified maybe, but it's not a happy ending. He
But
still tried to pull out a
The
joke.
mom
That's okay.
lived. The mom lived, though.
But I mean, she's not the woman she used to be, and neither is Promethea. I mean, it's just the tip of the iceberg. What goes wrong with these people? I mean, you're so smart in one way. If he doesn't hit you from one end, it hits you from another one. Somebody's obsessed with you, or I mean, in the least, you think about these people are so smart in one particular way that I would imagine that it makes life difficult. Thinking about going to college as a 6-year-old. I mean,
but you're saying these people are smart in a particular way. That may be true.
That may not be true.
That may be true of the person who played the violin, but we're talking about people who are just smart. However they apply themselves, there's going to be something awesome that takes place.
I think that's true.
We're not talking about somebody with like a disability, but they happen to be incredible at piano. We're talking about somebody who's just incredibly smart.
Now, Bobby Fischer, the chess grandmaster, he died at the age of 64. He was... let's see, this is from Huffington Post article. Mr. Fischer, the most powerful American player of chess in history, had moved to Iceland in 2005. He had emerged briefly in 1992 from a mysterious seclusion that had lasted 2 decades. 20 years he was just secluded and defied an American ban on conducting business in war-torn Yugoslavia to play a $5 million match against his old nemesis, the Russian-born Grandmaster Boris Spassky.
Yeah, that was like big news back then. Fischer versus Spassky.
After he beat Spassky again, he dropped out of sight, living alone.
And he called him Spassky after he beat him.
The dude was increasingly belligerent over the years and very anti-Semitic. His mom was Jewish, but he was very weirdly outspoken anti-Semite kind of a guy. He lived in Budapest and possibly the Philippines and Switzerland, and emerged now and then on radio stations in Iceland, Hungary, and the Philippines to rant in increasingly belligerent terms against the United States and against Jews. So this dude, Bobby Fischer,
he was a heck of a chess player.
Was a really good chess player, but he was known, I mean, in the least as being a jerk. But obviously this goes much further than that. The dude secluded himself and had all these political ideas and just kind of got I mean, the guy who.
So what are you saying, man? What's the moral of the story?
More IQ, more problems.
But what do they got to do? What do these people got to do? What are the child geniuses watching? What do they need to do? We got to give some advice. Can't end on that kind of note.
Well, again, I don't think they're watching. I think that they're dealing with their troubles.
Don't worry about it. You're not watching it anyway.
1993 movie Searching for Bobby Fischer is about a child prodigy chess player. Have any of you guys seen that?
I have seen it.
You have seen it? Mm-hmm. They tried to make him into the next Bobby Fischer, but he didn't want to, who everybody hated. And he didn't do it. I haven't seen the movie.
But he was good at chess. I heard you've been playing chess with your kids. I heard about that.
Lincoln plays chess and beats me every time. It's chess is like torture to me. I mean,
you're not trying.
You could sharpen the pawns to points and gouge my eyes out with it, and I wouldn't have worse of a time than I already have.
But you're not trying. You're letting him win.
I start out trying, and then my will is broken, and he beats me. Also in checkers.
I don't let my kids beat me at anything.
I don't let them beat me either. They just do. I mean, seriously, my will gets broken about halfway through any game that happens on a flat surface.
My dad would not let me beat him at anything until I could beat him legitimately, and those were very formative experiences when I could legitimately beat him. So when I play chess or checkers against my kids, I let them get way ahead, and it's I'm going to beat Dad, Then I'm like, game over every time. But one of these days...
But I think you're missing the point.
They're going to beat me.
I'm not letting them beat me.
I know, but what do they have to... Let them play Christie or something, because they need to... Or let them play me. You know what? Bring your kids over to my house, and I'll play with them. They need to have a challenge, man. You kids are not going to be... they don't need to be the next Bobby Fischer.
The problem with chess is that it always ends in a stalemate.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, chess all too often ends in a stalemate.
It ends in a checkmate, man.
No, it doesn't. You can't check. You can't. If it gets down to a king and a king, it's stalemate. That's what a stalemate is.
Well, don't let that happen.
I don't know how to not make
You
that
get it
happen.
into a position where the only move they can make would put them.
But then they can't move. A king can't move into to be taken. Can't make a move to be taken. Chess won't allow it.
But you know what checkmate is?
It's
Meaning that any move that they made,
you trap them.
the king, in the next move, the king would be taken out. That's what checkmate is.
But isn't there also a rule that the king can't move into check? That's what it is. King can't move into check, right? You don't even know the rules.
I hardly ever play.
But when you do, you win.
The king can't move into check because if the king would move into check, then it would be the next move you would lose, right? I don't
Right.
know. Does anybody know?
Can a king move into check? Google that. No.
You can't move your king into check on purpose.
Or even by
No,
accident.
but you're saying can the king put the other person into check? Yes. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, the king can take an aggressive move.
A king
I thought
cannot
that's what you
move
were
into
saying.
check.
Yes. It says a king can never move into check.
Yeah, because that's the game. Yeah, the game's over. If anything that you will do with your king would move it into check, then
But-
it's over.
But what if I mistakenly move my king into check?
You lose anyway.
No, you don't. You move it back because the king can't move into check.
But if that was the case, the game's over.
But can a king only move one space at a time?
Yeah.
So then technically,
Oh, you're saying if you
a
went.
king could not check another king. Because you would have to be close enough to capture a king with a king.
That's true. That's
Which
stalemate.
means you're putting your king in check, which is illegal.
Right. King can't.
I don't know much about chess, but I can beat a 10-year-old. That's all I'm saying. That's that.
Well, you're not using rules.
No, I am.
I would rather be gouged in the face.
What? And
With
I know you don't like it. My point is, for that moment in time in which you're playing your children, you should try hard so
I
that
do.
they develop.
I just
a
peter
sense
out,
of
man.
challenge.
I just peter out.
Their memories about playing their dad in chess are going to be like, yeah, my dad was a chump. I beat him every time. He seemed like he didn't care. He seemed like he'd rather have these pawns sharpened and put in his eyes.